Hello everyone and welcome back to the FRC Historian. For many of you, yesterday was a day of checking your NBA brackets, making sure you were close on. But yesterday, I did my own thing with first. I wanted to try and predict which teams would win, and in all honesty, I primarily did ones from the First and Michigan District, and I was way off. So, I'm going to start out with all the events from Week 4, and I'm going to tell you about some interesting things that happened. Sadly, there's not much match video for every event, so I'll be going off of what I saw. First off, starting out with the Greater Pittsburgh Regional. The teams who won this event were teams 48, 33-24, and 58-42. Team 48, Delphi Elite, got their chance. They were able to win and upset the 4th Alliance because there was actually an 8th ranked upset in this competition where 117, 337, and 4145 upset 1708, 3954, and 5470, becoming a ranked 8 upset. Then being upset by the 4th Alliance, leading to the 2nd Alliance, taking out the 4th, and 2 easy steps in the finals. Next up, we're going to go on to the Iowa Regional, where the winners of this event were the 3rd Alliance, who upset the 1st Alliance, where 50-13, 967, and 64-55 upset the 1st Alliance of 930, 525, and 29-57, being another upset. One thing I was watching that for was Michigan team Las Gorillas. They've had some many phenomenal years. However, their Iowa Regional wasn't their strong suit this year. Now for Central Illinois, where the teams who won this was the 1st Alliance in an almost clean sweep, with a few upset matches, where teams 1756, 2481, and 1781 upset the 2nd Alliance of 4143, 4256, and 5442. 2481 was the first pick of Beach Boss in 2016 Worlds. This is one of the first times I've seen them in prominence in quite a while. Next up to the Bayou Regional in Louisiana, where the teams who won this were 364, 1421, and 3991 as the 1st Alliance against the 3rd Alliance of 2992, 3039, and 3946. Now I see a lot of 3rd Alliances making it to the finals. It might be that extra defense spot being effective over the 2nd Alliance, or maybe something completely different, but it's interesting to see that. Next up, we're going to go back to Kansas, where the 2nd Alliance upset the 1st, actually not by 4 points in the final match. There were 3 finals matches in which the 1st Alliance won the 1st, 2nd won the next 2, last one only by 4 points, leading the 2nd Alliance, who actually had a backup bot with them, to win the Greater Kansas Regional. Now we're going to go over to Colorado, where, in absolutely no one's surprise, 1619 Upper Creek won with 1410 and 4068 against the 2nd Alliance of 1726, 4593, and 4550. The only big surprise to me was that Upper Creek lost a elims match in the finals. Next up, we're going to go to Regional Laguna in Mexico. I don't know too much about these teams, but I'm trying to research them. Where the teams who won this were 4775, 4635, and 7725, who upset the 1st Alliance of 6647, 5312, and 6608. In the finals, there were 3 matches, and he did get very close in there. So the Regional Laguna was overall a fun regional to watch. Next up, we're going to be watching Sacramento, where when I say no one's surprise, I mean no one's surprise, with 1323, 1678, and 3859, won against the 2nd Alliance, the Greybots, 973, 1072, and 3250. One thing though is, if you haven't watched my last video, I apologize for the first one not having any sound, but 1323 Madtown, that was their 2nd regional, Sacramento. They won it, but more importantly, they have not lost a single match all year, something the Cheesy Poofs had last year, and 987 had in 2012 going into their division. Now, LA, speaking of Beach Bots, for those of you who haven't watched my Beach Bots video, please do. Beach Bots set a record yesterday. I was watching this and I was very excited. The Beach Bots, 5199 and 2710, beat the 2nd Alliance 4415, 3309, and 2375 in a record 5 finals matches. They actually had to replay once, so it only lasted 4, with a tie in the finals, which is absolutely phenomenal. With the Beach Bots having won or tied 4 finals matches in a row, something that no team has ever done. And that was the Los Angeles Regional. Now on to the Peachtree District, Columbus, and Columbus, Georgia, where for this first Peachtree District event, 1414, 2974, and 1795 of the 1st Alliance beat 4910, 3635, and 5332 of the 2nd Alliance. Now that we're done with Columbus, we're going to move on to the 5 Michigan districts, where there were a lot of upsets, in exception to this first one, which was Alpena event number 1, where teams 2075, 2137, and 6573 of the First Alliance beat teams 862, 3536, and 7171 of the Third Alliance, leading to the only non-upset in Michigan. Next up in Michigan, we have Jackson, where rank 1 winner of Gibraltar 1023 picked 5205 and 5668 of the First Alliance and was upset in the finals by the Second Alliance of 1481, 4362 the Gems, and 7501, leading to 1023's perfect record being broken for 2019. Now after that, we're going to go on to Lincoln. Now in Lincoln, one other thing to mention is that Cowtown, Hot, and 5066 of the First Alliance were upset in the quarterfinals by teams 58-53, 55-30, and 76-60. Want to know something else about this event? This was the first ever time that an 8th Alliance won with those teams of the 8th Alliance upsetting the third of 36-56, 65-70, and 50-67. One thing I forgot to mention about Jackson, Team 302, the rank 1 winners of Miami Valley, got out in the quarterfinals. Next up in Midland, Michigan, the First Alliance of 50-46, 57-12, and 59-82 was actually upset in the semifinals, leading to the 5th Alliance and the 6th Alliance making it to the finals. The 5th Alliance of 51-66, 54-24, and 55-17 being upset by the 6th Alliance of 55-09, 37-70, and 34-14, becoming one of the only 6 alliances to win an event in Midland. Now after Midland and Michigan, we have our last one of the week, which was West Michigan, which was a big upset in my opinion, because you have 2054 of the Tech Vikes as the captain of the number 1 alliance, who did incredibly well this year with a ranking score of 3.32 to be comparative with the next teams of 2.75. 2054 having many 4 RP matches, picking 36-20 the average Joes. Now in the finals, the Third Alliance 59-27, 24-74, and 51-73 upset the Tech Vikes, the average Joes, in 34-58, leading to another Third Alliance wins, to absolutely no one's surprise with how many Third Alliance wins there have been so far. Next up, I'm going to be talking about everyone's favorite Canadian team, Dave, and OP, of course, where OP picked Dave, becoming the first event of the last 5 where OP didn't pick 1241. And OP won with Team Dave against 1241 and 4678 and 7800, with the First Alliance winning every single match they were in, with OP starting out a great season already. Next up, we're going to go to Texas Greenville, where 2468 Team Appreciate 3310 the Blackhawk Robotics and 7708 won this event against the Second Alliance of 5414, 3847, and 5888, and 7121 their backup bot. Now, for those of you who haven't been following the First and Texas District, believe it or not, 2468 is the rank 1 so far and will be up until the state finals, where 2468 won the Chairman's Award as well as the Engineering and Inspiration Award, giving them a score of 78 in both because they weren't rank 1 or the captain of one of their events, being the score of 78 with a Chairman's Award. But they've won both their events. They got in Chairman's and EI, and right now they have 156 points, which no other team will be able to bother up until the finals. Now, finally, Pacific Northwest District West Valley event we're going to be talking about today, where teams 2406, 2147, and 4104 of the First Alliance beat the Third Alliance 4980, 3218, and 3693, leading off a great season for 2046. Now, right now, that wraps up the fourth week as of yet, with every other event except for the SBPLI Long Island Regional, which starts today. That wraps up every single one of the events for week 4, other than what's not done today. And I will be making another video soon. Thank you for listening, and I hope you learned something about week 4.